In this video, I'm going to be teaching you all about the wonderful world of chipping, and it is a very difficult part of the game, but it can be made much simpler if we understand how the club and the ball relationship needs to be during the golf swing. Many people feel like they try to, certainly from this sort of range, try and almost incorporate a putting stroke style technique for this style of shot, but that really isn't a great way to look at chipping, because like every iron shot you hit, you want to be able to hit down on the golf ball. When you're putting, you don't really hit down on the golf ball. If anything, you may even hit up on the ball. But when you're chipping, we want to be able to hit down on the ball to create backspin. Backspin prevents the golf ball from rolling out too far, but it also gives us a little bit more height straight off the club face. So when we've got plenty of loft on the club already, with a little bit of backspin, it will pop up into the air. It'll come, it's going to roll up the club face, a little bit of height, and then have a nice soft-ish, depending on the strike, soft-ish landing to the green. Now, I see a lot of people think, okay, from this sort of distance, if we just play it like a putting stroke and try and get very stiff-wristed, which I feel like is a very basic way of looking at it. If you're a complete beginner watching this, then you could adopt that with maybe something like an 8-iron or a 7-iron club, and you just kind of rolling it along the ground. But if you're trying to adopt that with a sand wedge or a pitching wedge style chip shot, then it's the wrong way to do it. Now, a lot of people also say to me then, well, how much wrist do we actually use in this golf swing? And that's always the tricky one, because everyone kind of hits the ball different distances, has different speeds and different tempo. So it's a very difficult one to judge, but I often kind of say that the hands are still going to be working, they're still going to be hinging the golf club so the club can get some height relative to the ground. Now, if I keep my hands really rigid and just use my shoulders, look how low to the ground the club is. Now, if I pull the club back and hinge my wrist, look how much higher the club is. So yeah, I will probably need to hit the ball a bit softer from this height, as opposed to keeping my wrist still, swinging it to this distance, but I'm going to be able to get the ball into the air to hit down on the golf ball. Primarily what I see, and one of the biggest faults I see with golfers trying to hit the kind of putting stroke style, is that because the club comes in very shallow to the actual golf ball, then the club head is already very low. So if we're talking in terms of angle of attack when the club hits down on the ball, that's going to be a very shallow angle. So now I think we feel like we're really encouraging the club to not hit the ground, because obviously you don't want to hit the ground even a centimetre before the golf ball, because you'll catch it fat. So to stop catching it fat, you'd be very wary of not allowing the club to hit the ground. So you end up kind of coming back here, and then you see how the ball has just rolled along the ground and I've caught it thin. So I've hit the bottom leading edge of the club into the middle of the golf ball, created no backspin and no height, and it's just shot off the other side of the green. So to allow you to get a better angle of attack, that's not just coming from the wrist, but it's also coming straight from the beginning of the golf swing and beginning of the setup, and from the posture, because the angles in which the shoulders are going to be working are going to allow the club to start to work upwards a little bit higher, and then the wrist set just kind of helps you get that angle of attack with the club face. I see far too often where maybe the posture, the spine angle gets a little bit too vertical, but also I see this trail shoulder just working around the body. So again, you can see how shallow that club head is relative to if my shoulders continue to work down the line of the target. Notice how my trail shoulder here, notice how the grip on the club goes upwards, okay? So if I maintain that style of movement, now I get my club head higher. If I get the grip or the trail shoulder here working around my body, look how low the grip is compared to how high the grip is here. So I want to be able to encourage the angle of attack to work up and down. And this is when then you don't have to feel like you're really hitting too much wrist. You don't need to hit too much wrist hinge, because your body position, good posture, good shoulder movement during the swing will help you get a little bit more, maybe if I aim will help, but will also help you get a little bit more height on this club head. If you pull it around your body too flat, the club head's going to be too low. Even if you wrist set it, it's still going to be too low, because the angle into the ball is going to be too much on the inside, and the club head's going to be too low and too shallow. So just really get a feel. The two things I want you to work on from this video is allowing this trail shoulder to work the club head up higher, and I also want you the wrist set just to work the club head up a little bit higher as well. You may need to adjust your speed of swing and your tempo to allow for maybe even just getting a little bit more distance out of these chips. You may need to adapt your club selection, but one thing you will get right from this technique is better and more consistent ball striking, which more importantly can further help you lower your scores. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do hit that subscribe button or check out the rest of the library. We've got lots of golf tips, course vlogs and challenges on this channel as well. But for today, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon.